Hello, everyone. Welcome to Using Data to Improve Performance, new IBNET, the beta launch. My name is Masam Bisharat. We're just going to give the audience at least 5 minutes to join. And while we join, we recommend you go to the link that you can see on the screen. We have a very interesting poll just to see where people are joining from. So at this point, I would recommend please mute your mics and you can disable your video screens while we wait for the next couple of minutes to allow people to join. Thank you.
Good morning, Marco. Arden from ITS.
Good morning, Arvind. Thank you so much for joining. We're just going to allow a couple of minutes for the audience to join in. We recommend that everybody mute their mics, and you can also disable their screens. And while you're waiting, please feel free to go to the site that you see on the screen on polef.com/IBNET I772. We have an interesting poll on the next slide. We'd like to get insights on where people are joining today from. Thank you. Yeah. While we're waiting for people to join, I would recommend you take a part in this poll and let us know where you're joining from. I see people, we have an interesting makeup today. Some people are joining from Asia. We have some participation from Europe, some from Africa as well. I see some others too.
Where do you respond from? Where do you respond from?
Please try to go to the site listed above, polef.com/IBNET I772, and just sign in and you'd be able to take part of the survey.
Yeah.
I would recommend that everybody mute themselves and basically turn off their screens so we don't run into technical issues. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much for taking part in the poll. It's very interesting. We have a very diverse makeup from different parts of the world. We're very excited to have you on board. I would like to, at this stage, introduce my colleague, Marco Antonio Guerra, who is a senior water and sanitation specialist at the World Bank Group. He's also the project leader for the new IBNET. So with that, I'll pass on the mic to Marco.
Thank you, Masoom, and thank you for everyone for joining in. Good morning, good afternoon, whichever part of the world you are in today. Today is a very important date for us. No, we are reaching an important milestone. No? We're launching the beta test of the new IBNET. No, and for this we have asked the support of 60 plus utilities. No, that are engaging with us in this phase, no? Which many of you are here today. No? The website and portal of the new IBNET was designed after a broad set of consultation efforts with utilities, with regulators, with development planners and partners. As all modern systems today, the platform was conceptualized and developed following a user-centric design approach, meaning that first, we needed to understand what were the pains of the users in order to translate those to different features in the platform. The IBNET 1, as we know it today, was developed and has operated for almost 24 years. No? And today it is considered a public good, by far the largest database on water and sanitation performance in the world. And the new IBNET intends to keep that level of ambition, but with new data services and making it work as a platform for utilities where they can share their data, use data, and most importantly, connect and learn from each other. So as I mentioned, today we mark the beginning of the beta phase, no? That will run into from now to the end of January. But that does not mean that we need to wait until the last moment, no, to hear from you and to share your observations. No, we will start working at the moment we reception all the first observations, comments to improve. No, and we will try to work in parallel. No? So we need your help. The better, the sooner. No, that is our message. Our goal is to be ready by January 20, which is basically when we close the beta testing phase. And for that will allow us a little bit more time, to a month or so, to close, no, the platform, and to be ready for a soft launch at the end of February, and also to prepare for the full launch of the IBNET platform, proposed by to be held as part of the Water UN conference the second half of March. No, so this is important for us again to receive your inputs by January 20 at the latest. No, so finally, just want to express a heartfelt thanks to each and every one of you, those that have provided data already, those that will provide data in the next couple of weeks, to our regulators, to our associations, to our partners. No, thank you all for being so proactive and engaging with us since the exploration consultation phase, the development phase, and now the beta phase. No, this is an exciting moment for us, and we understand that of course there are going to be issues, no, when you encounter or start playing with the platform, issues, bugs, etc. But this is the whole purpose of this exercise, no? Basically to understand where are the faults, what can be improved, or can be evolved, and we are very enthusiastic and grateful for your support on that part. That said, I will hand it over to my colleague Berta Mashev. Berta is a senior water supply and sanitation specialist. She has more than 15 years of experience in the water sector. She also is one of the co-leaders of the new IBNET project. Berta, over to you.
Thank you, Marco, for your very nice presentation of myself. And again, thank you everyone for joining today. We have 4 panelists. We have 1 representative of utilities, Mr. Teodoro. We have 1 representative from development planners, which used to be a regulator, but is no longer a regulator, but we are considering him as a development planner, Mr. Robert. And we have 2 regulators, which are very excited to talk to, which is Miss Engineer Peter and Engineer Mohammed. I'll just go through a little bit of a short bio of themselves so that we all know who they are. I'll start with Mr. Teodoro from representing utilities. He is the financial manager of Brasov Water Company in Romania. His expertise includes water sector institutional transformation, tariff policy, and utilities aggregation. He is a member of several professional associations, including the International Water Association. So welcome, Teodoro, and thank you so much for being with us today. Next, I'll introduce Mr. Robert Gagubia. Mr. Robert is a water sanitation professional with more than 30 years of experience in planning, development, and management of waters and sanitation services, which includes the whole sector spectrum of functions: planning, designing, operation, financing, management, regulation, and of water services. He has previously served as a CEO of the water regulator in Kenya. Next, I'm going to introduce Mr. Mohammed. Mr. Mohammed is Executive Director of Water Regulator Sector in Palestine. He's an expert in strategic water and environmental policies with extensive experience in several Arab countries such as Palestine, Iraq, Jordan, and United Arab Emirates, where he's been involved in institution building, waste management, infrastructure, food security, emergency response, job creation, and vocational training, and environmental and improvement program. And last but definitely not the least, he is the current director of licensing, tariffs and standards and tariffs and advocacy of Water Service Regulatory Board in Kenya, WASRAB, and has always served as acting chief executive officer. In addition, he has also served as chairman of the Technical Committee of Regulatory Issues of the ESAWA's Association of Water Regulators. So thank you, all of you, for being with us, and I'll go straight to the questions. I'll start with Mr. Teodoro Papa. So I wanted to ask you, Mr. Teodoro, what you think is important in terms of data? How important do you think data is for your organization and for your work?
Thank you for your kind introduction, and thank you all for being here. The obvious answer is yes, the data are very important, but this is you already know. So I'll structure my answer in two. We have nowadays a lot of data into our company, and thanks to the technology, we can easily storage this in a pile of information for a long period of time on the various aspects of an utility, from technical, yes, the next generation, the young water professionals are preparing. So we have information on technical side, economic side, commercial side. And I like to say that the data are like the cell of the company's brain. It's important to check the health of the cells of the brain implicitly. But for doing this, it's very important to know what you are looking for. Here, the IBNET is helping with a pre-selected list of the most common data to look for. Second, the data needs to be carefully selected and treated, and after that turned into valuable information. Here is the second hand of help from IBNET, which is preparing a set of KPIs presented into a friendly manner. And to become useful, the information must be turned into knowledge, a strong base for any decision, plans, or actions. That is why the data are crucial for my work and for my organizations. And to illustrate all of this, I will share few stories. This benchmarking is a source of information for the management mainly, but not only. I was surprised attending to a national benchmarking, and I was looking, and suddenly I realized that we didn't produce too much electricity comparative with others. And then I rang the manager of the plant, and he said, you don't know, we have some troubles in producing biogas. We have some troubles with the engines. We had, in fact, a very big problems because all the equipment was about to fail. So I need to find out this from other source, from the benchmarking exercise, and this to be very, very, let's say, clear. Other stories is about we decided to open a call center, and then we found out the power of the data. We need to have a focal point, a single point of interaction with our customers or future customers. And in that respect, we need to have various data from different fields. For instance, the customers were asking, how can I become a customer? What kind of documents do I need for? They ask for approval for construction permits. They ask about their invoice, how they about the level of the service. They having, for instance, some incidents, some shortage in water supply or some sewage problems. So at that time, we need to think about and to put the various data into the different piles we have, to put together and to make the connections with the commercial side, with the communication side, with the technical one. I could tell you that this is a very important investment, and it's a must-do for every single utility to answer right away about the most common questions that the customers have. Since 12 years ago, we have this call center, and we understand that data and structured data are very, very important. And last story, it's about turbidity. We have some troubles because in the mountains area, the snow is melting in the springtime. It was raining and the turbidity was very high. And then we start receiving complaints. Now we had the opportunity to give the information back from the commercial side, let's say from the customer's complaint, and to show to the engineers what part of the network was affected by the turbidity, for instance. So I think this is the very, very important. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Teodoro. So we move to Mr. Robert. Robert, can you tell us how important is data for you and for your organization?
Thank you very much, and thank you to be part of this webinar. I think when you actually talk about data, or even when you talk about planning, you can never have effective planning without data. In fact, your raw material, even for planning and for decision making on whatever plans you're going to make, has to come from is data. But one more important point I would like to emphasize is that even the development we talk about all the time, if you cannot account for the development, then even to the people who really you are targeting development, it becomes irrelevant, and you cannot account without data. Coming back to focusing on the water sector itself, there are twin challenges we are always talking about with respect to the water sector, and these are issues to do with water scarcity and then the amount of money we need for the sector. In fact, these are considered as what I would say, if you look at the variations in the water resource itself and the poor financial conditions sometimes we find the sector in, they are basically like very major challenges, and we can even talk about them being existential threats even to the water utilities that we would like to actually support. Why am I bringing water utilities? Because a lot of development in the sector has focused on the supply side, where you're actually just doing infrastructure. In my experience, I think you need to balance that infrastructure with the performance of the infrastructure, and that performance is actually the utility performance. So that brings in this discussion that we have in proper context. There is also, because of the water scarcity issue, we are now being forced to look at the soft path of developing water or planning for water. And soft path is actually about allocation mainly, and reconsidering the water uses and all that. You cannot have allocation without data for the water. So I think data is so critical in this respect. In fact, in a recent discussion and recent discussions, even in international fora, we are finding a situation where even climate action has a very serious challenge of data. You cannot actually have evidence of whatever climate action you have done to actually even have some support from climate finance. So as utilities grow and develop, I think as they improve their systems, they are able to benchmark with a good performance, and this is where IBNET comes in. I cannot emphasize more with regard to utility performance as part of the development framework for the water sector. If utilities are not performing well, the water sector itself suffers. In fact, it will be performing suboptimally. But we also know that data and data quality are huge challenges. So they will be using IBNET to guide them on the most important aspects. What are the management practices that perhaps you have a lot of potential in trying to improve their performance, and such like parameters within the IBNET. So I consider IBNET a very exciting platform, and I really applaud the reimagining and reworking of IBNET, and I believe it's a very important cog in the water sector. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Robert. Let's go now to Mr. Mohammed. The same question: how important is data for your organization and for your work? Mr. Mohammed.
Well, thank you very much, first, for inviting me. I'm really excited for this minute. I'm proud of what you've done so far. I'm looking forward for that. Well, look, as a regulator, and because we are looking into national data, not only at the service border, we have data at the national level. So the way we look at it is different from some countries. In a way, data is being used to stabilize the regional security. In a way, we use data that we collect in transboundary negotiations over water issues. So that's a key issue for us in this part of the world. At the same time, it is really used to avoid civil unrest. In a country where you have scarce water, you need to allocate water based on accurate data, and you need to be fair. And only accurate data can give you that ability to be fair. But at the same time, to improve the performance of utilities and to improve the quality of life, you need to have some fuel, some oil. And data is your fuel and your oil into trying to reach that. Without data, you are fuelless. You cannot do much. At the same time, the government in Palestine tried to allocate water for the different developmental areas. And as my colleague said, without accurate data, you cannot allocate percentages to domestic, to agriculture, to industry, to tourism. So that's a key entry to be fair and to really plan your development in a wise, fruitful way. So it is quality of life, it is regional and local stability, and it is planning. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And last but not least, Engineer Peter, how important is data for your organization and for your work?
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity. I think I'll start by saying that if you cannot measure it, then you cannot control it. Data is at the core of the work of every regulator. And looking specifically like the Kenyan regulator, who have the following mandate, who have been conferred the mandate of looking at the tariffs, that's the water pricing. The regulator has been conferred the responsibility of monitoring the implementation of the National Water Service Strategy. The regulator has also been conferred the responsibility of maintaining a national database and also information system. So if you look at all that, data is at the core of everything. And it's not only data, this has got to be very credible and reliable, the data. So data is also quite key in trying to encourage a competition among the many utilities with the focus on improving the efficiency and the effectiveness. It's also key in promoting accountability to the public, and most of all, in making informed decisions. In the Kenyan situation, WASREB has a very critical role of advisory role to the water sector, and without a credible data, then that role would be crippled. Hence, credible data is a strategic tool for any regulator, for decision makers, and even development partners. Thank you.
Thank you so much, all of you. I mean, if I can summarize a little bit of what we heard, what I understand that we heard from you. First of all, data is the brain of the utility. And I like that very much. That is something that is core to the utility. If you cannot measure, you cannot control. Again, it reflects how important it is to have data. You use data to encourage competition. Use data to promote accountability to all of you of users. In places where you can have civil unrest, as it happens in Palestine, you need data to be able to allocate resources to all the users. If you don't collect the data, you don't know where to bring water or what is most necessary. So that is really key. And I also like very much if there's no planning without data. There's no decision making without data. There's no development without data, and there's no allocation of resources, of funds, of water without data. And it's necessary to have data with quality and data enough for people to be able to take these decisions. So all of you converge in one way on this, what you have said, and I like it very much. So now I'm going from the regulator to the utility. I'll go the other way around. And I'll start again with you, Mr. Peter. You're the last, you're going to be the first this time. And the question for you, and these questions now are going to be different for everyone, no? So no copying from the other people. So now I want to ask you, Mr. Peter, how does IBNET add value to your organization? And what are you most excited to hear and to see on this new IBNET? Over to you, Peter.
Yeah, thank you. Let me say that the new IBNET is quite crucial to regulator. And one thing is that we know that regulation is not static. So the new IBNET is a critical repository of knowledge on monitoring and performance of water utilities. And most of all, it supports the delivery of the SDG goals on water by providing a monitoring tool to progressively monitor the progressive realization of the right to water. The other aspect is that it gives WASREB visibility. When WASREB appears on the new IBNET and the data on WASREB is there, there is a visibility, and that visibility contributes to the credibility of the regulator, and that also counts a lot to development partners. The other aspect is that it also enhances WASREB role in policy implementation and advisory to the government. And let me just give a good example. For example, in the Kenya, recently we have had to change our sanitation target, 2030 sanitation target. The initial target we had was 80% seaward sanitation by 2030. But because of the data which WASREB has been progressively, monitoring, we've had to revise that now to 40% sewerage, and then the other aspect we have left it to seaward sanitation. And what that has led to the other thing to do with the financing mechanism, and looking at the financing gap that is there, I think now it's a policy issue that public-private partnership is also part of the funding mechanism for the water sector. So it is a prestigious to be in the new IBNET, and that is good for the country, and that is good for WASREB. I went through I took my colleagues through the new IBNET the other day, and they were very impressed to find that there are 109 utilities that appear on that. And I did notice that the data is lagging behind. It's up to 2017. And I instructed we need to now update it up to 2021. So it's a good thing. And it's a good thing because it replaces and shows the credibility of the regulator. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. I think I'll summarize all at the end again so that we can go a bit faster because we have a demo on the new IBNET. So I'll go to Mr. Muhammad. As part of decision-making entity, what tools do you think that IBNET should have to help you in designing and developing policies and regulations for you to improve, or for utilities that you regulate to improve the service that they provide? So what else do you think that we can include on IBNET?
Well, thank you very much again. But as I've said, because we look into national data, it's true that we are looking for performance management tools, and you have included that already. But also we look at media management tools. If the media can use data, because they are a key stakeholder in the water management in not only in Palestine, but I would think in the region. At the same time, everybody talks about customers' participation. And customers cannot really participate unless they are really updated, unless they have the access to that data. But as you said in the IBNET, it has to be to look and feel. The customer should look at, should not only look, but should feel the data, other than being with good access. In Palestine, as any other world, we've been asked by researchers on what data can you, what do you have? So for researchers, that would be really a good tool. Now we are looking into smart water use. At the academic level, they are trying to teach that. And unless they have good examples of good, accurate data, they cannot really plan on their teaching courses. So as I've said again, at the donor countries, I had 3 meetings today where donors were asking for data on specific areas, specific issues, specific regions. So it is really the performance tools, the media management tools, the customers management tools, researchers, as well as planners. I know that it is all included, but as long as it's easy to use, and if the data speaks by itself, you can feel it, I think you can better use it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is very important. Mr. Robert, as a development planner, what do you expect that the new IBNET will help further your mission as a developer or other entities that you support in development? Robert.
Thank you very much for this question. As I said, when you are looking at the water, let's say, development model, and I'm looking at the water sector development model here, it has a number of critical elements that you need to include. And these, for example, it has been cited in many areas. Like, for example, the sector framework. What is the policy? What's the strategy within that sector? And then you need kind of to hold the actors to account, and that is where regulation comes in. And then you talk about infrastructure, and then you talk about finance, and then you talk about data. Now, there is one element that is always forgotten, and that is the utility performance. Now, the IBNET helps you to actually make performance comparisons. And I believe this is important for in terms of the area I come from. In a developing country, some of these challenges that service provision faces can be daunting. In fact, people can try wondering whether anybody can actually bring non-revenue water to 20%, for example, when you are talking about 60, 50%. But you can already show through IBNET this has happened before. There are also issues where we are overwhelmed. I mean, as utility people, we are overwhelmed by even the politics within the utility, the governance challenges. In terms of the management practices that you look at it, that you actually come out in IBNET, you can see this is possible. It can actually be done. So it helps you now strengthen the fact that utility performance must be that, and once you ignore utility performance, which IBNET is all about, then the sector itself cannot grow to an extent that you'd want. At least it will not be growing optimally. So for me, this IBNET platform is a very important step towards that kind of that progress as we move towards meeting the targets which we have set ourselves into. So it's so critical that we have data, and from that data we are able to get whatever insights we can get, which can help us improve management. And this we will get through the new IBNET, and trying now to put it back to your own context and see really if it is possible, then what do I need to do to actually make it happen in my context? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Robert. And Theodore, so after what Robert mentioned, which is what IBNET should do and is going to continue to do. Is there anything else as a utility representative that you think can help you in keeping share the data, in keeping connecting with other utilities? What else do you think utilities, what else do you think IBNET can do apart from just benchmarking and showcasing what others are doing?
As a board member
So-
of the International Water Association, I could tell you that this is the biggest question in such of enterprise on voluntary basis. How we can engage, and the most important, to maintain the enthusiasm of the members on the long run. The answer is in the value proposition to the targeted participants, to the utilities, and also to other stakeholders, as they were mentioned already, as a regulator, for instance. For us, keep sharing data and the participation in various benchmarking, we are participating voluntarily on the national benchmarking, on the Danube, which is the regional benchmarking, on European benchmarking, which is continental, and also in IBNET. And this is linked in the added value that we are seeing in our management this decision that we could take, or in operation or in development decision that we need to take. And it has something we do with our vanity, because we are looking to every single benchmarking like to a mirror when we are reflected on, and the context is the only that is different. That's why we have 4 mirrors to look at to understand better where we are positioned. We expect from IBNET to continue the service in an improved manner. I am expecting from a stronger support from a dedicated secretariat, if it's possible, to ensure the pace, the timing of the process, and to do the necessary housekeeping and keeping the flame burning. Minimum quality check of the reported data, at least in order to remove obvious broken data or something that is very, very obvious. At least this could be done by some paid experts, or based on the voluntary basis to look for those passionate professionals to look at least at the, let's say, to give an overview to the data they are putting into the system. I'm expecting from auto quality check also. So when you are reporting, to have something automatically saying that, hey, it seems that this is wrong. Maybe it's too deviate from the previous year. Of course, we are looking for the platform to share the best lessons, best practice for the hottest issues like energy efficiency, digitalization, water loss, or on finance. I'm expecting for some events, some workshop, even conferences. Some of them could be done at the global, regional, or local level. I'm looking for some certified training, which could be run online, to have some recorded training courses for instance, for the reporters at different level. For instance, if you are going through a training course and pass a questionnaire, you could receive a, let's say, basic reporter, medium level, proficiency, or something like that. So the people could learn about it. And of course, about a system of recognition, because we need a part of the mirror, that voice telling us that we are the most beautiful in the country. Yeah. So receiving a certificate or something for the reporters, and also for the utilities that are participating. Not the least, we wanted to join to be part of a professional network and part of an international water experts community, from which we could learn from each other almost for free.
Thank you. So if I may summarize all your contributions, I would say at the end of the day, we all want to help each other. We all also want to contribute. But IBNET has to must have a strong value proposition where utilities continue to be engaged, not to be contributing. For instance, using the regional platforms that already exist that we can use to strengthen this, do some quality checks because everyone is concerned about the data that's going to be provided. And this data is our mirror. So we have to be sure that what I see in the mirror is I see myself. I don't see someone different. But at the end of the day, I also want to have a mirror that shows me and shows me at a higher level or a level that's a bit higher than everyone because everyone wants to look good on this mirror, right? And we also want that a tool that helps how things can be done towards progress, towards development. That's what we want to see. We want tools that can help on media that everyone in media can use. We want tools that our customers, the utilities, the customers from utilities can also go look and see what is there and they can use. We want tools that can help development planners to help utilities, to help regulators, to help other planners. So at the end of the day, we want a tool that provides knowledge in monitoring. We want tools that can help regulators and it can contribute at the end of the day to the SDGs and to overall development. So again, even though the questions were different, we all converge on one thing. We want a tool that can be useful. We all want to be able to compare each other, but also to learn from each other. And that's what we're going to try to do on IBNET and promote this friendly, good competition, but also good learning among utilities within the region, within the whole world, and within the country. So I think I want to thank you everyone for participating on this exciting conversation. Just take note that we took all the notes and we're going to include these. And I think I'll pass back now to Mesum, who is going now to demonstrate what we have on our new design of IBNET. And I hope you keep engaged and learn, and then of course provide us feedback. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Berta, and thank you so much to our distinguished panelists for sharing their perspectives from different regions of the world. I would like to start first can we share my screen? I would like to start first by also thanking our participants, water and sanitation utilities from different regions across the world for being a part of that pioneering group that has ensured their commitment to sharing their data with the IBNET. And as a part, you played your part in terms of sharing your data with us, and now we wanted to give something back to you. And we're really excited to have achieved this milestone, and we wanted you to be a part of this exclusive group that gets early access to the platform that we've been working on. And we wanted to also get your feedback and opinions on what you would like to see on this new IBNET platform as well. Now, in terms of the redesign of IBNET, we wanted to focus on, our major priority was taking a user-centric design approach, which essentially means that we looked at our main user base, particularly water and sanitation utilities, water and sanitation regulators, and then development planners also working in the water and sanitation sector. And we really thought about their needs, what are their pains, what do they want from a platform such as IBNET, and we wanted to have them front and center on our platform and on everything related to IBNET. We wanted to focus on what they exactly would like to see on this website, and just to make this platform extremely useful for them as well. After consultations with our partners, we have tried to focus our new website structurally on three major components, which is being able to share data, being able to use data, which basically is through different dashboards, making it super interactive, and then having a community aspect to IBNET as well. Now, My colleague has in the chat section already shared the link for our external site. It is live for you to be able to log in and be able to see. But I would really the most interesting part that we have for our members today, which you guys are the first ones, is basically the IBNET portal. And I wanted to lead you through the full process of how it would be in terms of your experience of using this site. That being said, I also wanted to highlight that sometime later in the day, you will be receiving each one of you who's attending on this call, each one of you who has shared their data with IBNET will be receiving an email from the platform informing them of the next steps and instructions on how to be able to log into the system as well. But just for reference, I wanted to quickly, I'm very excited to go through it with you on this call as well, just so you have an idea of what to expect. So we wanted to go to this portal, which is really a premium service that we have for our members. In terms of the access to the platform, I would like to highlight that you don't need to create a new login or password for this platform. Of your already registered emails, whether they're Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, or your company accounts would work. You just need to be able to go in and sign in. All of your access details have already been added in the system. So once you get through the login, you'll get to this home page, which we're calling the IBNET portal. You can see all your data services available to you. You can view them on the left side. You can see if there's any service assigned to you and just general information that might be useful for you. Let's go to the utility dashboard. And by the way, while this is loading, I wanted to give a huge shout out to our ITS team, namely Arvind, Anna, and Varun, who are also in the call. They have helped us immensely in turning this IBNET to a reality. So the first visual we have on the utility dashboard is the utility overview graph, which is basically gives you a comparative analysis of where your utility stands in comparison with others. So let's say we want to select a utility. In this case, let's select Aquas de Quito. Now, as you see, the data gets populated as you make your selection there. Just in terms of a legend, we have overview of at least around 15 indicators that IBNET collects data on. The yellow dots represent the utility where it stands on that indicator. As you can see, for each one you can hover over. The blue lines represent where almost half the utilities are in that data set. And of course, this being the lowest reported values and the maximum reported values. If you wanted to, let's say, focus on one particular indicator, you can go to the next visual where really you can just select, for example, in this case, we wanted to select non-revenue water. And again, we have the same choice of being able to filter through for the same utility. Let's say we can really zoom in on how this utility is doing in terms of non-revenue water in comparison to with other peers available in the data set. We also have the option to divide the data by income group, which is basically where the utility exists in terms of their country. So there's some countries based in the low income group, low medium category, medium high, and high category. And again, you can either select through the indicator on the site and also make a selection on the utility itself too. So you can see this particular utility lies in a medium high country and then how it is performing with respect to others. So this was more on the KPIs. As you know, we have a very exciting development in terms of management practices as well, which is really utilities self-rating themselves on different business practice areas. But this information right now is basically confidential to each utility. So once you log in, you'll only be able to see your own utility here. So for example, I'm assigned to this particular utility, but you should be able to see your utility. If you select the options, you can see the full graph. I'll show a version of it on the country dashboard, which is the next dashboard that we have. We have, again, on information on the KPIs on a more country scale from a 40,000 feet level. I do want to put a disclaimer here that This country information is based on the utilities that submit data to IBNET. It does not reflect the full overview of where the country is, but only is dependent on the amount of utilities that have participated in new IBNET. But you see, for example, for Philippines, you can get like an overview of all where this country stands in terms of different indicators. You can also go to a more detailed overview, indicator overview if you wanted. Same with selection of each country. This is open public information for everybody to use. And then lastly, we can also go through by income group as well and making your selection there. Really on the management practices, because we wanted to show you this visual as well. So for example, on Angola, this is cumulative information on this country because each utility's information is confidential, but this is really where I wanted to highlight how this can be useful for users as well. The blocks represent the concentration of utilities. So the darkest represents that most of the utilities have rated themselves at 3 on climate change, but this particular country lies on a 4. And it's in a similar manner, you can see how this country is performing on different management practices across different business areas. You can do the same once you're logged in by your own utility on the utility dashboard as well. And then finally, we also have IBNET is one of the biggest sources, actually one of the only credible sources online for water tariff data across the world. This is the most updated information, is regularly updated. We have also tried to make this a very interesting interactive dashboard for our users. You can select by region, by country, by income group. So let's say we wanted to select East Asia and Pacific, and we wanted to focus on, let's say, Indonesia. And we can see all the utilities present in Indonesia. Let's go ahead with the selection. And really, you can see, again, similar format. The yellow dot represents the utility. You can see for under 6 meter cube of usage, they charge around $3. For 50 meter cubes, you can see the tariff price there. And then for 50 meter cube onwards, you can see the tariff price there as well. All the slightly darker dots represent the other utilities in this selection. And then the light blues represent all the utilities that are present in the IBNET dataset. And it's very simple, it's very easy, it's very informative. You can very easily see how different utilities are setting their tariffs across the world. So that was mostly on the dashboards. I just wanted to quickly give you some information on the surveys too. As you guys have already been part of the IBNET survey process, but going forward, we have this online system where when surveys are assigned to you next year, you'll be able to see your surveys here. You'll be able to add reviewers, external reviewers if needed. Everything will be in an easy to use, interactive online survey form that you can easily use to share information with the IBNET platform. And then we have a similar function for reviewing submissions to just going back if there's any questions that need some clarification, anything of that sort, that is also available in the platform. And again, coming back to the home, this was overall our initial part of our initial data services that we were offering for our pioneering group of utilities, and we're very excited for this moment. And as I was saying, after this meeting, at some point later during the day, you will receive your own access link, and you should be able to go into the system and be able to use these dashboards. Thank you. Can we move to the next slide? Now, while my colleague puts us to the next slide, I also wanted to highlight here that we are really looking at this stage, part of this offering of this early access to the system. We're also trying to get your feedback on what you would like to see additionally on this platform. While we have been part of an extensive engagement with some of you or with our main stakeholder groups, we really want to cater this as a service for water and sanitation utilities. And we would really love to see if you have any suggestions in terms of what you would like to see on this platform. We're also at the same time starting this, as my colleague Marco has mentioned, at this beta testing phase where we're looking for select users that can help us do an in-depth review of the platform and basically check for quality, check for any suggestions that they have. If you're interested in becoming a beta tester, you can write to us at ibnet@worldbank.org. Our site is also live as of today. It's right now, the link is ibnetqa.worldbank.org. All of this information will be shared with you after this event. So you will have the access to the portal and access to the site. And please feel free to reach out in case of if you have any suggestions or if you would like to see or be a part of the IBNET platform as a beta tester. We hope to continue engaging with you, with some of you over the next couple of months. With that, I would like to conclude my part of the demo here, and we would like to move to a very short, fun poll that we've set up for our audience. Can we move to the next slide? Now, some of you might have already been logged in to the Polev link. I would recommend that you open your mobile phones and you try to take part in this poll. We just have a couple of questions. And also while we do this, if there's any questions, particular questions, any pressing concerns at this stage, you can also use the chat section to write in your questions about the IBNET platform, about the website. What do you feel about it? What do you want to see on the platform? What are you most excited about? Please feel free to use the chat section. Otherwise, also, we can wait for a couple of minutes for people to respond on the poll. We have some very interesting responses. So connect with others, sustainability, new ideas in solving utilities challenges, data security, financial sustainable. Actually, on the security part, we've made sure that our platform as follows. The one thing that we've ensured is that your data is 100% secure on the IBNET platform. Connection with peers. We plan on having a larger community of practice with utilities so we can have an ongoing engagement with our users, and you can connect with other utilities on the part of IBNET platform as well. On certified trainings and reporting quality, we've also really ensured that our systems, the online survey mechanisms, just to ensure that the data quality is really on par, and just trying our best to ensure that the platform has the best quality, most verifiable data online, comparing data and performance, financial stability. Those are some very interesting responses. Can be global visibility. We're also on visibility. We're also trying to have some sort of on the community platform. We're trying to offer this visibility for our membering utilities. More information to follow on that soon. Can we move to the next question now? Identify gaps in areas that are easily comparable. What are you most excited about the new IBNET? Based on what you've heard today, till where we are, I would love to hear your responses on what is the most exciting you think. What is something that stands out about new IBNET for you? Dashboards, yeah. I need data. Yeah. The new dashboards, again, hats off and a big shout out to our ITS team at the World Bank. They've really helped us get this thing together. Timely data. We have some responses on report generator. We're working on that. So on the reports part, I would highly recommend please share insights on what exactly you would like to see in these reports. New graphics. We've tried to really take user-centric design approach to make the site more interactive, more user-friendly for our users. Good use of Power BI for the dashboards, data availability for research, engagement between utilities, global visibility. Can you move to the next question? Engagement between regulators. Yeah. So just as a word cloud, this is super exciting. In one word, how would you summarize this session? We'd also love to get your feedback on what you think about this event today. We'd love to improve in the future. We plan on having a lot of engagements with utilities, with our core user group going forward, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. How did you find this session? You have some interesting responses. That seems like very positive feedback. Interesting, wonderful, inspiring, engaging. This is just wanted to reiterate. This is actually it is a very inspiring moment for our team. We've been working hard over the past year, working closely with some of you and to make this new IBNET a reality. While we're not on the full launch yet, we are taking the necessary steps to get there too. So this is very exciting. And I believe we have one last question and then we can move towards. Yeah. So with that, thank you so much for participating in our polls. I would just quickly, I know we're running over time. I'll just quickly go back to Marco, and he will be giving some final remarks before we close the meeting.
Thank you. Thank you, Mesut. No, thank you very much. And thank you all for joining, Berta, for doing such a wonderful job in the moderation, to our panelists, to our team, core team and extended team, who helped us reach to this important milestone. Just to summarize, we are opening the beta phase from today to January 20, and from that on, we will leave approximately 1 month to do the final adaptations. We plan to have a soft launch in February, but the most important day for us is the full launch during the Water UN conference in 2nd of March. So we would very much appreciate, again, your dedicated some time to go through the platform. If some utilities haven't yet submitted their information, please do so. If you know that utilities would like to participate, please send us the contact. We will be more than happy to reach out to them. We have an amazing team behind this platform that is ready to provide you a personalized and dedicated service and try to respond any query that you may have. This is important. The last word was inspiration. Thank you for that. I think you were the ones who inspired the design of the new IBNET. It wasn't us. We follow, as I mentioned, a user-centric approach. So the inspiration came from you, and we loved your recommendations on different issues. I just want to make a final step. Powerful message. Some of the panelists mentioned, the data is power, or the data that has power. And I think that's really important. And of course, with power, as they say, comes great responsibility. It's not only to have the data, but wisely, as someone put it, to use that data, put it to work. That is how we become smart, we become intelligent utilities. With that said, thank you very much. Please reach out to us at IBNET at worldbank.org. We are here practically, I don't want to say 24 hours, but maybe it's 18 hours now, because we need 6 hours to sleep. But rather than that, we are here to support you in any way possible. Thank you very much, and have a great day, afternoon, or great evening. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, and bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.